Hey, what's up guys, TechTitan here, and I am back again with a brand new video. So before I begin this video, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching this one. If you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button for more tech videos. And just a heads up, I have a really special video next week, and here's a hint for you. It involves the Pixel 3. So yeah, be sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for that video. It's going to be amazing. So in today's video, we're going to be actually taking a look at the Alcatel 7. Now, I did an unboxing and I did a review on this phone, but here we are sometime later. I want to give my second review on it, and I want to tell you guys how this phone aged. So let's start with the basics, specs, and design. So the specs on here, this phone has a 6-inch Full HD Plus display, and it does have this amazing 18:9 aspect ratio, which is kind of the standard of 2018. Also, the bezels are fairly small. Again, we are in 2018, so this is the move for bezel-less displays, even on budget smartphones. And it's amazing to see that budget phones can actually pull this off. So what flagships can do, budget phones can also do. So that's amazing to see. Now on the bottom you do have your USB Type-C as well as your speaker. Now they're not really both speaker grills, so they're not really both stereo speakers. It's just a single firing speaker, and it sounds pretty decent, and I'll let you guys take a listen to it. So on the back you have your dual camera setup. So it is a 12 megapixel sensor plus a 2 megapixel sensor that is used for portrait mode, but it's a gimmick. That's really all there is to it. It's just a marketing scheme, in my opinion. At the end of the day, this is a budget smartphone, and even flagships still struggle with portrait mode to this day. So the second camera, in my opinion, is a gimmick, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. And you also have your fingerprint sensor as well as your Alcatel logo at the bottom. So overall, pretty cool design. So it is all entirely made out of plastic, even the power button as well as your volume up and down, which they are both on the same right hand side. And it does have a headphone jack, but it does also have a headphone jack, but it is at the top of the phone. So let's talk about the processor and the performance. So this does have 32 gigabytes of storage, pretty decent. 2 gigabytes of RAM as well as a 2.5 gigahertz octa-core processor, so it's pretty highly clocked. Now performance, this phone performs really well. So opening up a day-to-day task like the phone app, the messaging app, so it's pretty good, and it's also decently fast. Now one downside about this, the specification, is that it only has 2 gigabytes of RAM. So if you're a heavy multitasker, then this phone, I don't know, it's going to be a little tough. I understand it's a budget phone, but 2 gigabytes of RAM is a little bit low. I think hopefully in the next generation of this phone, you'll be able to have 3 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, so it's pretty good, and it's also decently fast. Now one downside about this, the specification, is that it only has 2 gigabytes of RAM. So if you're a heavy multitasker, then this phone, I don't know, is going to be a little tough. I understand it's a budget phone, but 2 gigabytes of RAM is a little bit low. I think hopefully in the next generation of this phone, you'll be able to have 3 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, so let's talk about software. So this phone is running Android 8.1, and it is heavily skinned, and I'm not really a big fan of this kind of pastel-y, cartoony skin. I don't know, like the camera app kind of looks ugly to me. I'm not really a big fan of it. Now the settings is one thing that they kept clean, and I'm a fan of that. Let's talk quickly about the battery life, and the battery life on this phone is also pretty decent. It's not the greatest, but it will definitely get you through a full day of medium use. Now if you play a lot of games, then just have a charger on you, because you will need it. Now this doesn't really support any type of quick charge, which is kind of disappointing. And also one thing that I want to talk about is that your 3 capacitive buttons are kind of close to each other. I wish they were just a little bit spread out. So the display quality on here is pretty good. It's not outstanding. I wish it was a little bit brighter, but the colors are decent. The colors are kind of good. The colors are actually really good. So they're saturated. The contrast is good. And yeah, so overall the colors on this display, and this display in general, it is an IPS panel, but it's a pretty good one. The brightness, on the other hand, is not really that great. It doesn't really get that bright outdoors, especially when there's a lot of sun out. So yeah, keep that in mind. Let's talk about the camera. So the camera on here, like I said, 2 lenses, a 12 megapixel as well as a 2 megapixel. And I don't know, So let me give you an example of this camera. So the pictures that I take are okay. They're not really outstanding or anything like that, but they definitely get the job done. Go look at my review if you want to see actual sample shots. So it's fast at taking pictures, so that's really good. But like I said, it is a budget phone, and just don't expect anything that will wow you. So overall, it is a pretty usable camera. Like I said, it's not gonna do any magic or anything like that, but it will definitely get the job done. Okay, so I'll give you guys the speaker test, then I'll end this with some final words on whether this phone is really worth it a couple of months later or not. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's turn up the volume as loud as it goes. 3, 2, 1. So you can block it pretty well, but so it has good bass and decent mids and highs as well as lows, but it gets kind of tinny at the highest volume. But overall, it will, like I said, it will definitely get the job done. So pros and cons. So the pros is that nice display, decent camera, fairly quick, so performance. And the cons really comes down to, okay, and another pro is actually the design. It's a pretty clean design, other than the fact that it catches fingerprints like crazy. So case is highly recommended on this phone. But so the cons is really the speaker and kind of the software. I wish it was just a little bit more on a pure side of Android, but overall, I mean, as a budget package, it's definitely a really good one. So would I recommend it as a budget phone? Absolutely, it's a pretty good one at that, and it definitely gets the job done. So who's this phone for? Really, if you're in the market for a phone under $200, this is the one for you. Well, this is at least one of your options. But this kind of budget world is kind of getting really competitive, from LG to Samsung to other manufacturers to ZTE, I don't know, to Motorola. So yeah, if you guys want to see a kind of a versus, so if you guys want to see a comparison of this phone and other budget phones, definitely let me know. And yeah, but let me end it here. So I want to thank you all so much for watching this one. I do greatly appreciate it. Like I said, subscribe for the special video that will be coming next week. Again, hint, Google Pixel 3. Okay? Alright, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.